The Shot by Alexander Pushkin is one of the most well known and well loved short stories in Russian literature. It is marked by the themes of revenge, love, and rivalry. This is definitely one of my favorite short stories. I hope you enjoy the story as much as I did. This is just a casual retelling, and if you are interested in reading the whole story by yourself, I will leave a link down in the description. Please enjoy. The Shot by Alexander Pushkin. The story starts in the village of X. There, the main character in the story is a man named Silvio. Silvio is 35 years of age and he has the personality of a classic hero. He is gloomy and malicious, and he is influential among his peers. He lives poorly and lavishly at the same time. Poorly because he never took a carriage and always wore the same frock coat, and lavishly because he made food and drink available to the young soldiers in his area. The only luxury he allowed himself was a collection of pistols. The story begins when Silvio has an argument with a new officer over the score kept at a card game. However, Silvio did not fight. He simply accepted the apology given by the lieutenant. This lowered his image in the eyes of the young men because he did not fight with the officer, which showed that he lacked courage. However, the incident was soon forgotten and things turned back to normal. One day, a letter arrives, and Silvio is in great hurry to leave the village. This letter will be important later. Now we come to know why Silvio did not dwell with the officer, for we find out that he was saving himself for a revenge. This is Silvio's story. Silvio had served with one of the Hussars regiments. There he was the alpha dog. From drinking to dueling, he was at the top. He was looked up to by his friends and was seen as an inevitable evil by his officers. However, this position was soon snatched away when another young man joined the regiment. He was outgoing, wealthy, handsome, intelligent, and courageous. He was also from a noble family. The young man thus cast his shadow over Silvio. And although the young man tried to be friendly with Silvio, Silvio developed a bitter hatred towards him. A bitter rivalry festered between the two men. One day in a ball, when the young man flirted with a woman with whom Silvio was having an affair with, Silvio swore at him. The young man in response struck Silvio on his face. They set out to fight a duel that very night. At dawn, the young man approached Silvio with a cap full of cherries. The two men drew lots, which fell to the favor of the young man. He took aim and shot through Silvio's cap. Now it was Silvio's turn, and gazed at his opponent's face for any sign of anxiety, but he simply faced Silvio's pistol, eating ripe cherries and spitting out the seeds towards Silvio. This cool attitude infuriated Silvio, and a mischievous thought passed through his mind. Silvio said, I see that you are too busy to think about death. It is your pleasure to breakfast. I do not wish to disturb you. To which the young man replied, You don't disturb me in the least. Be so good as to fire. Just as you please, however. You owe me a shot, and I shall always be at your service. Now, the letter that Silvio had received said that the very young man was to get married in Moscow soon. Silvio intended to kill the man during the eve of his wedding and wanted to see how indifferent he would be to his death now. Silvio now left the village for Moscow. Silvio's revenge. Silvio did not manage to kill the young man, who was actually a count. The count, after getting married, had returned to the village of X. One day, while returning home, he was told by his servant that a person who did not disclose his identity waited for him in his study. There, Silvio was waiting for the count to take his shot after so many years. The count was terrified and counted the moments until Silvio took his shot. He begged Silvio to fire before his wife came. Silvio pulled out his pistol and took aim. However, after a harrowing minute had passed, he withdrew his hand and said, I regret that my pistol is not loaded with cherry stones. Bullets are heavy. I can't help feeling as if this were not a duel but a murder. I am not used to aiming at an unarmed man. Let us begin all over again. Draw lots for the first shot. Again, the count was lucky and got to take the first shot. He fired, missed, and the bullet hit a picture on the wall. Now it was Silvio's turn. Silvio started to take aim at the count. Suddenly, the door opened and his wife, the Countess Masha, rushed in, shrieking, and threw herself over the count. The count tried to console her by saying that they were only joking and wanted to introduce her to his old friend. Masha said, Tell me, is it true what my husband says? She asked, turning to the formidable Silvio. Is it true that you are only joking? Silvio replied, He is always joking, Countess. Once he struck me in the face for a joke. He shot through my cap for a joke. And now he missed his aim for a joke. And now I feel inclined to have a joke. With these words, he again made as if to aim at me, in front of her. Masha threw herself at Silvio's feet. The Count said, Get up, Masha, for shame. And you, sir, will you stop mocking at an unfortunate woman? Do you intend to fire, or do you not? Silvio said, I do not. I have received satisfaction. I have seen you anxious and alarmed. I made you shoot at me, and I have had enough. You will remember me. I leave you to a conscience. Here he made as if to go, but standing in the doorway, he glanced at the picture the Count had hit, fired at it almost without taking aim, and vanished. The Countess fainted. The servants did not dare stop him. Silvio stepped into the porch, called his coachman, and disappeared into the night.